CTV Calgary, local breaking news.
Good afternoon. The snow is making the drive around Calgary very slow. It's also having an impact on flights. Drivers are facing challenges in the usual spots, hills, ramps, and bridge decks. The heavy, wet snow, not much of a match for Calgary transit buses. Since midnight, there have been over 75 crashes. It's not just the roads where delays are happening. Things are not running on time at the Calgary airport. Flights were briefly paused this morning because of the significant snowfall and runway conditions. If you are planning to catch a flight today, be sure to check its status before you head to the airport. Gina joins us with a look at the weather conditions. It's actually noteworthy to point out that we've made it this far into the fall before we got our first significant snowfall.
Significant and sustained. You know, we've had those pop-up snow events that come for a day and then melt by the next day, and we're back into those positive temperatures. What's different this time around is we're going to see cooler temperature values throughout the week, so that's going to allow the snow that does fall and accumulate to stay on the ground. We actually have some snowfall warnings still in effect for the extreme south, including Lethbridge, Pincher Creek, and some areas in the east, Kootenay, and to regions to the east of us as well into Saskatchewan. These areas in white could see 10 to 15 centimeters of snowfall today. For us in Calgary, we got a good dose this morning. We're expecting between 5 to 10 centimeters. This is what it looked like earlier this morning. We saw the bulk of the snow falling over Calgary, right, as many people were off to work, starting to dissipate and track to the east of us, but expect throughout the afternoon to still see light flurries throughout the day. But we do take quite a bit of a nosedive as we get into the early afternoon hours. Right around 2 o'clock, you should see most of this snowfall start to ease up. But again, light flurries possible throughout the evening hours and into early morning Tuesday as well. Banff saw a lot of this snow develop on Sunday, so starting to wrap up in those higher elevations as well. Lethbridge, it's been a bit of a question mark how much snow they're going to get from this system, but still, again, under that snowfall warning for now, but models indicating things are starting to taper off in the extreme south as well. But the cooler temperatures aren't going anywhere. We will see a bit of a reprieve into next week, but really all the rest of November, expect those temperatures to be below seasonal and gradually work their way up to slightly above seasonal by Thursday of next week.
Thank you, Gina. Elections Alberta has approved 6 new recall petitions. That includes the Speaker of the Legislature. Calgary Hayes MLA Rick McIver is one of the new MLAs facing a recall petition. Other MLAs include Calgary Northwest Rajan Sawhney, Calgary North's Mohammed Yassin, Calgary Fish Creek's Miles McDougall, Highwood's R.J. Sigurdsson, and Morinville St. Albert's Dale Nally. Signatures must be collected by February 22nd, and the number of signatures required ranges from 9,500 to over 15,000. 9 UCP MLAs in total are facing recall petitions. The federal government and the province are expected to sign a memorandum of understanding this week on resource development. It would include a new agreement on the industrial carbon price, large-scale carbon capture, and a new pipeline. Premier Danielle Smith says she's confident Prime Minister Mark Carney is on board with her pipeline plans. The possibility of a pipeline was raised on her weekend radio call-in show. The Premier reiterated she believes there will be a deal soon.
I would say that we have been negotiating with the feds for a while. I've been very frank about that. And we've been going back and forth almost daily for probably the better part of the last 2 weeks. And I really hope that we will have an agreement ready and available to be released soon.
The Premier and the Prime Minister are expected to make the announcement together. The details of that announcement are still being finalized. The Premier's office says they hope to have more to share in the coming days. A man has died in Calgary police custody, and Alberta's police watchdog is investigating. Calgary police responded to a mental health call at a southeast home Sunday afternoon. Police say when they arrived, a man in his 40s was behaving erratically. When they tried to take him into custody, he assaulted one of the officers. Officers deployed tasers, but the man continued to resist, then went into medical distress. He was taken to hospital where he later died. No officers sustained serious physical injuries. And RCMP are warning of the release of a high-risk offender who has completed his federal prison sentence. Cody Manyshot served a sentence for sexual assault causing bodily harm, kidnapping, robbery, and other offenses. Manyshot's plans to live on the Siksika Reserve. He and his brother Corey were convicted after a 17-year-old girl was kidnapped from a bus stop in Taradale and taken to a home in Martindale, where she was repeatedly assaulted in 2014. 2 people were injured when 2 houses caught fire on Saturday. Firefighters arrived to find smoke and flames coming from between 2 homes along Taradale Close northeast. 2 people in the basement of one home were helped to safety and transported to hospital with critical, non-life-threatening injuries. Firefighters quickly doused the flames, but both homes sustained significant damage and the residents will be displaced. Neighbors say it was a frightening sight.
This is very near to my house, so it's very scary.
Totally unexpected and
Home sustained minor exterior damage. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Calgary high school students will get the chance to train for trades thanks to a corporate donation. Suncor is putting $260,000 toward the Calgary Board of Education's Energizing Youth initiative. It will help students take part in dual credit programs and skills competitions both provincially and nationally. Students who take part could graduate from high school already accredited in some trades. The biggest beneficiaries will be those who might not otherwise be able to afford the education.
Well, it takes a lot of money to, train students and send them to provincials, and there's a lot of people that have talent that, don't come from rich families and, they might not be able to afford it. So having the sponsors, really cuts down that cost.
For more information, log on to skillscompetenciescanada.com. This year's edition of the Lions Festival of Lights launched Saturday night in Confederation Park. This is the 39th year for the event. There's no official light count, but organizers estimate 800,000 lights are part of the displays, with more rope lighting added every year. They say the joy it brings to the community makes it all worthwhile.
They come out and they all have smiles on their faces, and it's very important. It's a very emotional part of the year for a lot of people, and there's a lot of loneliness in the world. And this would certainly help to support them.
The lights will be turned on every night from 5:30 to midnight until January 8th. Thanks for joining us. We'll have more on the top stories coming up on CTV News at 5 and 6 or anytime online at ctvnews.ca/Calgary.